Hello, I'm Sophira-lou and welcome to my channel. Okay, so what's this channel going to be for? This channel is basically for me to be able to show progress on my artwork, be able to answer any Q&A questions that anyone might have, and also just to show a little bit of life what is behind doing all this work. So, how are we going to start this YouTube channel? Well, first of all, I asked a few of you on Facebook and Twitter a few little questions what you'd like to know about me. So I've got your questions here and I'm ready to answer. Let's go! So the first question I've got is from a lovely Charlotte Kelly. She's asking, where do you get the inspiration from for your work? So, how do I get my inspiration? There's lots of different things. I do admit I can be inspired by the littlest things. I can watch a TV programme and be inspired by the costumes in that. I can see a Tumblr post and be inspired by the way that someone has drawn something, so I'd want to try it out. Or I'll be listening to some music and be like, I got a drawing in my head. Alright, lots of little things can inspire you to just want to draw and just want to work. Even something as simple as, I've got a new pen, I need to draw something. That's what happens and that's the way it works. Next question I've got is from Zumi. How do you get a good following? Now, if someone could answer this question for me, because I don't know myself, I'd say probably just like be yourself, like constantly try new things, do something that you yourself are going to be proud of. Because as good as it would be to get an amazing following, at the same time you want them to not just follow you because you're drawing latest fan art or because you're drawing things a certain way. You want them to follow you because you are who you are. You express yourself through your work, and that is what you want more than anything. It's always good to have a good following, but at the same time you don't want to, not be you. Next question I got is from lovely Shawnee Maple. When do you think work best? Mornings or nights? Definitely nights. I think it's because during the day I tend to, like, if I'm not working or if I'm not already, I'll be tidying up in the flat or I'll be just doing standard chores. At night time I tend to work best because I'll be working hard and I'll be like, oh, inspiration. But it depends on what mood I'm in as well. But I always tend to find that I work better at nights, so I work till the early hours of the morning sometimes. The next question is, what piece of work are you most proud of? Now there's a lot of them, but I'd say probably my latest Life as a Carousel art book, mainly because this was like 6 months worth of work and there's lots to it, and I was just really proud of like how it came out and everything, just because it seemed like all that work that compiled into one was just, and it's there and I'm really proud of that. This is also available on my store, Envy Store, which I'll leave a link to below. Yeah, I do have other pieces that I'm actually really proud of as well. I'd say like my Jelly Bean comic, which I'm really, really proud of, and I promise I'm working on chapter 2. I'm just proud of a lot of pieces of work, but you'll find after time, no matter how proud you are of the piece of work, you'll start to notice flaws and you'll want to improve on it, and I think that's the best thing about doing work as well. No matter what you do, you will always be proud of it, but at the same time, you'll want to keep on improving. Next question is from Jennifer Lulu Lamb. When did you start drawing and what inspired you to start? Now I've got a funny story about this. I've come from quite an arty background. I've got a very arty family. Dad a photographer, mum loves to paint, and I was always inspired by them and always told to always follow what you want to do, and I was really lucky to have that sort of inspiration. I was actually inspired by a very good friend of mine to start drawing anime and manga, which I have some of her lovely work here. Her name is Brogan Coral, or a Brogan, and she introduced me to the anime and manga world, and I cannot thank her enough, because if it wasn't for her I wouldn't be doing what I was doing today. And like artists like Alphonse Mucha, let me show you some of his work. You'll probably recognise it, it's very Art Nouveau, very pretty. I love the way that he draws, and I love the way that he feminizes women who are both big and beautiful, but at the same time I love the way he curves his lines, everything like that. And that really inspired me to want to draw, and it also answers back to my previous answer, like I just get inspired by lots of different things, so being inspired really, really helps. Which also helps with my influences. Now, I have lots and lots of different art books and lots of different artists that I could shout out and feature, which will be something that I'll be definitely doing in my YouTube videos. I want to make sure I feature a lovely artist each week so that you can explore their wonderful work. So, one artist I will give a lovely shout out to is Nani Abim. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I will leave a link below. Alright, so on to the next question. The next question is, what advice would you give to an illustrator starting out and looking to break out into the scene? My advice to you is draw, 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 draw. Draw constantly. I am drawing all the time, to the point where my partner probably gets fed up with me drawing all the time. I literally draw. If I'm not at work, I'm at home drawing, and then when I'm chilling out, I'm thinking about drawing. Just constantly do that. Try and find your own style and really push you as yourself, whether or not you're doing fan art, original work, or character design, this, that and the other. You want to express who you are through your work, and that is the most important thing of all. Next question. Have you always been good at art? Does it come naturally, or do you have to battle to find your style? I didn't think I was always good at art. I was always drawing as a child, but I didn't think I was ever that good. Some of my earlier illustrations, which I might have to show you at some point, look completely different to what I'm doing now. And I think it's all about practice. You have to practice, and anyone can draw. I firmly believe that anyone can draw, anyone can do something creative in a positive light. Doesn't matter whether or not you're fantastic at drawing or sewing or anything. You are fantastic at something that you can do, and that is positive attitude. You've always got to stay positive about it, because that is something that, you know, can influence others and keep you always motivated about doing your work. It doesn't matter how good or high or low your skill is. You've got to practice, because if you don't practice, you can never better your skill. You are people who are more naturally inclined, but they will still have to practice to get their skill on top. Next question. Alright, do you have any advice for those who recently got into artwork themselves? Yet again, reiterating an earlier question, practice, 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 practice. The more you practice, the better you will get at your skill. If you're feeling a bit low about drawing that pen with liner, sack the liner, get some crayons out, try something different. Always motivate yourself to do something fun, because that is what you want to do. Last question. Alright, actually this is a two-parter. What is your most important piece of equipment you own, and what is your favourite piece of equipment? Alright, now I'm going to show you something. One of my first pieces of equipment I bought when I went to university was my drawing tablet. Now, I've always drawn on pen and paper with fine liners, and I'll get onto my favourite fine liners in a bit. But I have this. This is my Wacom Intuos 4 Medium. This was my first piece of equipment I ever bought myself, well, apart from my computer, and this has been with me now for nearly 6-7 years, and I love this to pieces. I do eventually want to upgrade to a Cintiq, but I always highly recommend like Wacom tablets anyway to anyone who wants to start out drawing. If you can't afford one of these, get yourself a Bamboo and try out with them. They are the cheaper alternative to Wacom, but they're just as good. But I just prefer this one because it's got the feature where you can rotate the screen, and it's my baby. I do also have my Mac computer, which I would also class as my favourite piece of equipment. It's a G5 quad core. I'm going to go into geek mode here. I did have another G5 before that, but I love the equipment, and I use Photoshop CS4. That's my computer equipment, and I love that. As for pens, dinosaur roar. That means I've got to hurry up. Alright. As for pens and natural equipment, I tend to use any like smooth card to draw on. If I'm not drawing on smooth card, I like to use, where are you? I would show you my sketchbook, but apparently it's gone wonky. Oh, there it is. Alright, I like to use a standard sketchbook. Now this has got like smooth paper, it's not cartridge paper, but I do like how sometimes cartridge paper can give you a little bit of graininess to your image. But I use like standard sketchbooks for sketching, but when I'm actually inking, I prefer smoother card. Now, pens, I use a mechanical pencil for sketching, and when I'm inking, I'll either use a fine liner, tends to be Copic or Unipin, because I love either of them. But I recently fallen in love with these mangaka flexibles. Now I like them because it gives a different variation in line and they're really, really nice to use. And for colouring either Copics or lecture sets, depending on which one I can get my hands at a time. Alright, I think I've answered them all actually. Oh, awesome. Okay, so if you ever want to see any more videos with Q&As or a bit more about how I do my processing work, make sure you subscribe. And if you ever want to, you know, suggest how I can make these videos better, leave a comment down below. Alright, thank you all for watching my video. And also, make sure you check out all my, well, I'm on every social networking site known to mankind. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. That's how you can certainly check me out. And I'll leave all the links below. If you want to check me out there. Thanks guys, I'll see you later.